the Terry McLaurin contract negotiation, currently holding in, meaning he's not racking up $50K a day fines.
Right.
He is around. He requested the trade. We did the live stream. Thank you all for joining. Those that did and those that didn't, go ahead and check it out. Kate and I yelled at each other some. It was 4 hours in a row of just recording stuff. So here is the latest that we got from John Keim in his latest episode, where, thank you very much, K-Dot, he drops the nugget saying, I think Washington could get to 28 million. I just don't know if that would be enough for McLaurin's side. And so this is something, K-Dot, you and I have talked about ad nauseum, right? Where's that midpoint going to be? So if Terry, for this example, wants 33 because he wants to beat DK Metcalf, so that 33.3, and the Commander's opening offer, according to Jeremy Fowler, 25, then, we're looking at 29. You get something from Keim going, okay, well, if I think they could get to 28, right, which is a little below that midpoint. Yeah. And then I've got my document to take multiple times, which is I think the 30 number is very important to Terry. Don't know if he signs anything below that. So we're continuing to get puzzle pieces. We're continuing to figure out what's true, what isn't, what's coming from where, etc. Your thoughts, Kate, on the latest moment that is.
I mean, kind of same old when it comes to any of this shit. I mean, at the end of the day, it sort of falls in line with exactly what it is that I thought when we were looking at the first numbers that we were just sort of guessing about based on some of the stuff that we were hearing as far as we keep going back to that 25, 35, 30 number. Those three numbers as far as what people are looking at. And I said that, well, look, based on what it is that's happening as far as the DK number or where it is a little, it's like it seems like 28, 29 seems to be the sweet spot to me. And I still think that that's probably the spot, is that 28, $29 million. I think at this point it's going to be, I can only imagine there's so many complexities to the contract itself. Like, Lord knows what it is that's the sticking point. You're going to have the average per year, which we know at this point there's pretty much a chasm there. We don't know what's going on as far as the guarantees, length of contract, all this other stuff that all plays into it, right? So what does it mean for Terry to feel respected amongst like DK Metcalf or some of the other guys? Does he need more guarantees than some of these guys? Does he need to have the average millions per year to be in that realm? If you look at the DK Metcalf contract all the way through, you start like really parsing it through as far as some of the bonus stuff, some of the incentives, things like that. Mm-hmm. What does that look like? And is Terry like, all right, well, fuck that. I don't want that. I don't need all of that. I want it kind of baked into the contract. When you look at like some of the incentives and the stuff that they have the DK Metcalf, the true value of the contract is really that $30 million mark. So like that at least what I'm seeing. So I still think 28, 29 is that thing. It feels as though that's the number that would make, like I've been begging for everybody to just be just uncomfortable enough to get through. And it just let's play these fucking games. And then whatever happens down the road or down the line, it can happen. Because I think that if you get that 28, 29 million to Terry, I think for Terry's standpoint, it might not be exactly where it is he wants to be. But I'd say if enough has happened in Washington where you're like, I don't want to be here going forward, I'd tell you that contract's a lot easier to fucking move around and potentially somebody give you some more money if you have a good year. Just saying, you got some options there. So I just hope he's getting good information, and I hope that at least what it is that we're hearing seems to be a modicum of truth. Because I'm starting to feel as though I got a good picture where everybody's standing and like I know where I'm at on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I am now resigned. So that's where I'm at, where I don't think the team, and we said this very early on, once training camp started, I don't think the team is getting to 30. If they do, then I think this does get done, just to be clear. Yeah. I don't think they get there. If they do, it's with lower guarantees than DK. So now I'm thinking the only way it could get done is if you do get to that 28, 29 mark, but the guarantees are more than DK. Okay. And I don't see that either. So I am now saying I do not think a deal gets done. I do think that what can be palatable for both sides at this point, K-Dot, is you give him a raise this year, sooner rather than later, and you just go, hey, it doesn't look like we're moving anywhere. You want to test the market because you want that amount. Go right ahead after this. Here's a raise. We won't tag you. Be free after this. And that way he plays for us one more year. That's important to me personally, just because I think it's so important for Jaden's second year. When I gave you the 3 reasons, number 1 was Jaden Daniels' development. Give me 2 years of Terry. If he needs to go after that, he needs to go after that. Yeah. But that's where I see it now with the puzzle pieces that I think I have available to me.
Look, in my opinion, unless what we saw in the joint practice ends up being the absolute just truth about the team, which is that we don't have receivers that could create any space. We can't throw the ball down the field. It's just a non-existent thing for us. That's the only thing that I can see that Adam Peters actually comes to the table and actually relents on maybe where his stance is currently. Terry, once again, the only leverage that he really wields is not playing and knowing that the team itself is not going to be as good without him. And that's the only frail thing. And I think everybody's on the same page that, yeah, the team will not be as good this year without Terry McLaurin on the team. I think it's a guarantee, right? But I don't see a situation, honestly, in which Terry does not suit up and play. And I think if you're Adam Peters at this particular point in time, so the point would be, if you've already gone past the point of no return in the sense of where the relationship is going to go in the future, then why do I care to make it palatable right now? Right. So it's like, if it means we're playing hardball, this is where we're at, then this is where we're at. So I would say that based on what I've seen from not so Adam Peters himself, but places he's been, being like San Francisco, they're good with the uncomfortable. Like they're
that's exactly why I'm going. I don't think it's happening.
Right. So so when I look at that, I'm like, yeah, they will hold his feet to the fire and say, look, you can hold out a knot. Like, this is going to be up to you. But I think that ends up being the big thing, right? And I think that I think there's a part of us, even as fans, that think that Terry, when push comes to shove, would still choose to play over not playing. And look, at the end of the day, I don't know what he'd do. I don't know what his team is telling him to do. I don't know. But I mean, if I were betting, I still think he's going to suit up for us this year. I just think it's going to be one of those situations where it's like, and nobody's really happy about it. But once the games start flowing and we start winning, and if we're winning, then no one's going to care about this until come off season time, or it might be a hiccup if we have a hiccup in a game or two. But I think that they can keep going, and I don't think that there'll be a distraction for the team itself. I don't know necessarily as far as Terry himself. He doesn't strike me as anybody that would ever do anything to cause any friction in the locker room or what have you. But once again, if I'm looking at the timeline of what's happened, the only person I think that stepped outside of the realm of the only person I think that escalated things was Terry when he went personal when it came to the Eastern Motors thing. It's kind of akin to what's happened with the Cowboys and Parsons, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you see what's happening there, and I don't know about you, but if I'm looking at who got more disrespect, who should feel disrespected, I'm choosing Mike over Terry.
I agree with that.
But you see what Jerry Jones does down there, and it's like, I think everybody's on the same page. So Mike is going to get paid. This is just part of Jerry's process, right? He's got to be a little bitch for a second to just piss and moan.
He's got to win the headlines, the A blocks.
But you're gonna get the most money anybody's ever gotten. So that's gonna happen, right? So that ends up being the posturing bullshit that he does. So people have their things that they do when it comes to this process. You want more money, you got to use the leverage you have, and part of the negotiating package is trade requests. That's part of it. That's baked in. That should have been something we even discussed. When we were talking about trade partners, I think the conversation that probably should have happened was there's a good chance a trade request will happen, but the likelihood it will happen is pretty low, at least right now, right? And I think we're in that territory. We're still in that kind of give and take. It's just, we love this dude so fucking much. It's hurting. It's hurting.
I just, logically speaking, am not seeing Terry cave. I'm not seeing the team cave. And because of that, while I am and we're on the same page, he is going to suit up for us this season. I think the way to do it would be to just give him a raise this season to get him in sooner rather than later. He can at least have a smile on his face. The vibes are good for the time being, and then at the end of the season, let him explore. And that conversation can even be as simple as, hey, we'll give you a raise right now. If you do it again, we can have this conversation again. But right now, it's only been 1 year. Right. You can say that, and yes, you are competing with Debo. There it is. You are. And see how he handles it. I think that's how it's going to end up.
Yeah, I mean, I still don't even know about the race, honestly, and it's not necessarily because I don't think it's if I was Adam Peters, right now, I could tell you Terry McLaurin would be in New England with a $30 million contract. Okay, if it was me, but right. I also don't think I should be the GM. So that's
I agree.
Me. Right. So so I'm sort of I'm trusting Adam because I do trust, once again, the mission statement, right? So whoever the leader is, if this is the mission statement, I'm a good soldier in the sense of this is the guy that I'm following above all of the guys, and that's what I've signed up for. you're bucking a little bit, and that's okay. It's a particular thing. I mean, you're not going to get dishonorably discharged from the team, so you can do that. It's a rough situation. Everybody wants them here, but I mean, it's the monetary thing and the business part of it. When you really treat it like a business,
yeah,
it ain't fun, man. Ain't no part of it is fun.
No, it's definitely not, it's obviously not fun. It's Commanders Twitter all the time now, right? We want to be able to talk about the New York Giants week 1, and we want to be able to then talk about Green Bay right after that and the Raiders right after that, right? We want to just focus on the season. This is such an integral piece of the organization over the past few years that you can't help but talk about this player, right? In Terry McLaurin. So, we will see what happens. My argument for giving him the raise is you're basically giving him money to gain time with him, right? And to be able to have Terry on one side, Debo the other, and see what that offense looks like for 2 to 3 weeks before we roll it out there. That's my incentive to, if I'm Adam Peters, and I'm also glad I'm not the GM, and everyone should be, to just give him the raise for the time being and be like, okay, get your ass in camp. We need to see what this looks like. Let's go all in for the season. You'll get your money at the end. It may be from us. It may be from somebody else, but can we just get this thing going? Like that's, yeah.
Once again, I do think that if it was a case where I knew things could get smoothed over by just giving them some money, like everybody can just go into the season just happy. But I don't think that's the thing for Terry. I don't think like an extra few dollars this year, as much as it might be a good thing. Work. I think it feels like from Terry's standpoint, it's like, I might not just agree with his principle, but he's standing on business. He's standing on principle. And which is where you get that level of disrespect, where when you want to do the comparison, him, Michael Parsons, some of these other guys, you're like, what? But it's to him. This is the line that's got crossed. So like, I don't know what you do in those rooms when it comes to a guy that's thinking that way. Is like, is it even a spit in his face to say something like that? Or is it, hey man, pain is suffering. Take some cash. So I don't know. I don't know what those rooms look like. I don't know what his agent is doing in those rooms. I'm hoping Terry's not in those fucking rooms. I'm really hoping.
I'd be surprised if he was. Although, but I know where you're at, where you're like, he's done dumb things. So like maybe that is just yet another.
And here's the thing. Dumb things in the sense of like his camp. I'm not going to call himself dumb. I just think that once again, the Eastern Motors move to me was an escalation. It's akin to a lesser version of Jerry Jones calling out Michael Parsons for no fucking reason in the media. It's like, what are you doing? So like, I get it. You're using you're trying to garner your leverage where you can. And I get it. And the other thing is like, from a Terry standpoint, motherfuckers, y'all pay me. I show up. I do that thing. And I've been doing it with the shit that you put around me. You might not have picked me, but I did it. So I'll show up when I need to show up. You can find me if you need to fucking find me. It is what it is. So like, I'm all for the players doing what it is they need to do. I just think that in this particular situation, once again, it's just a really weird situation with a lot of weird comparisons, and it's just a sticky wicket just for anybody involved. And you got some other teams that make really dumb decisions, and the way that things look around the league is like, whoever gets paid anywhere, we're always looking for the comparison because that's the market. That's that market. That did this.
That's true.
Right. And it's like the Deshaun Watson thing, I think, collusion or not, should have told everybody like, hey, just because one guy got a deal does not mean that everybody.
And by the way, the market did correct
right?
over there.
So like, but what did it start with? It started with the Ravens getting trashed for months for not paying Lamar Jackson what everybody thought that they should have paid Lamar Jackson. And I'm sorry, as much as I love Terry, ain't as important as Lamar Jackson is to anything. Sure. So like, so what I'm saying is that nobody's that special that you can't have these sort of situations. It's just what it is. It just hurts because of how much heart we know that this guy gives. And Lord knows, I mean, NFL films, Twitter, everybody, they've been doing a damn good job of showing Terry highlights all over my fucking algorithm.
He looks great. He looks great.
It's just like, then you start remembering like all last year, it's like, damn, he really fought for those touchdowns. Like,
did you see? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Did you see those Jaden top 5 plays that released? It was the Hail Mary and 4 throws to Terry.
Like, no, I swear I saw that video and I almost pulled up the WhatsApp to hit you and be like, dog, you're right, man. I'm looking like, there's only one other play in these fucking highlights. So we need him.
And it was off a tip from Tyreek Stevenson. So anyway, we will see what happens over here. To summarize, so Kate, I'm just writing this down. I think the only way this gets done is if that AAV, average annual value, hits 30 a year, or the guaranteed amount is beyond DK's. Okay. And that's a compromise from both sides. That's what that looks like.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I do not see it getting done. And I would recommend, yeah, now I'm a consultant. I would recommend just giving him a race to get him in camp as soon as possible. That's where I'm at. Where are you at? You do think it gets done ultimately at that 28-29?
Yeah, I mean,
I hope you're right.
think,
I would love for you to be right.
I think that's the compromise. I
Yeah.
really do. I think that Terry's ask, as much as I know people want to do the comparison game with DK and everything, I don't like the DK contract. I just don't like the DK contract. So like, I'm not.
Neither is Adam.
Right. So I'm like, duh, I'm not comparing to that. Like, we're not doing, like, those fuckers decided they were going to do that shit. Like, we're not doing that. I'm sorry. Like, this, and I would tell Terry to his face, like, dude, I know. Like, no, you just saw that dude. I know you're better than him. We can't do it, man. We're just not going to do it. So, like, but I think 28-29 to me is the compromise, because I do think that number, that bump up, as far as when I'm looking at everything and who it is I'm comparing Terry to compared to like who it is you're comparing Terry to, I think 28-29 with a good number of guarantees. I'm not necessarily saying it goes past what DK has, but a good number in the guarantees I think can get it done. I just think that I do think it ends up getting done with Terry being a little more unhappy than the team.